pour water all over Jessica Jones' chair.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the December 8th joint workshop meeting. I'm very pleased to have, and the board is pleased to have tonight with us, looks like most of the members of the Finance Committee, and we also have members of the School Committee with us tonight. Obviously, this is a workshop, so the most of the town agenda will happen after we have discussions with the joint boards. The two issues that we're here to discuss, first is the preliminary audit results of the Healthcare Trust Fund. And then the second order of business is going to be the discussion of the budget, the next fiscal budget, 2011. We have represented the full board. Mr. Clerk, why don't you call the roll so we can go into session?
Sure, Mr. Chairman. All five selectmen are present, as is Mr. Sanjanet.
Okay. Has the school committee gone into session?
Yes, call the school committee meeting into order, and I'll call with the roll. We do have all of our members of the committee here. Mr. Forbes, Mrs. Gillette, Mr. Sweat, Mrs. Sylvia, and myself, and our superintendent of schools, Dr. Rabinovich.
Okay, well, on behalf of the board, we welcome all the members of the school committee. Thank you for joining us tonight. The Finance Committee has come into order.
We haven't as yet come into session, but we are now, and we have 7 of our 8 members here, and we appreciate being here.
All right, well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you again for coming. We also have Mr. Foster. Mr. Foster, I see, is the town treasurer. We also have our town accountant here as well. So now that we're all in order, why don't we proceed? It's very important that we have the first discussion, which is the Healthcare Trust Fund, because obviously it should or necessarily can have a direct impact on the second half of the discussion, which is the 2011 budget. It's important that the school committee is here specifically for this discussion because, as we know, a substantial half or more of the budget is represented by the school budget, and it appears that Mr. Sanjanet is going to be giving us his analysis and assessment of what is clearly going to be a significant deficit for the next fiscal year. So the way I'd like to handle the meeting, if I can have permission by the two respective chairs, is we'll start with the trust discussion with Biz and the town administrator. We don't, unfortunately, have the benefit of the auditor who did these findings. Was not available for tonight. Can be available when the final draft is ready if this board and the respective boards want to sit down and meet in joint again with respect to the 2011 budget. So we'll start off with, once Biz has made the handouts, with a discussion of the trust, and then after that discussion, the way I'd like to handle questions and comments is, since we have guests, both boards are our guests, we'll have the respective boards ask their questions and comments first, and then the Board of Selectmen will ask their comments and questions last. Before I get started, any questions about how we're going to proceed? All right, Mrs. Sanjanet, do you have any opening or preliminary remarks you want to make about this?
No opening remarks. Mr. Powers did apologize. He had an appointment. I believe it was in Gayhead, Oak Bluffs, and he was unable to be here for this meeting tonight. He is still working on the final report. As he states in his report, this is about 80% complete, and the numbers in it will not change significantly, if at all. And he hopes to have the final report ready for my review and business review in mid-December, and schedule an appointment with the board and the other committees to go over the final report. It probably won't occur till after January 1, but it will be. He will be here for that.
Okay, very good. Thank you, John. Biz, do you want to come on up, please, and get us started and walk us through the report, and then we'll open it up for discussion. Just introduce yourself for the record.
My name is Elizabeth Zaleski, and I am the town accountant for the town of Wareham. In October of 2009, the selectmen engaged the services of Powers & Sullivan out of Wakefield to do an extensive audit on our health insurance trust. The reason we went for the extensive audit is because of a previous audit report that was done for the school department, which addressed the ratios which were in deficiency. The previous audit was done by a Mr. Claude Bowdwin, who was the town's auditor for a number of years. What the preliminary report shows, which is the same thing that Mr. Bowdwin had shown in his report, is there is a surplus in the health insurance trust. This surplus, although the figures are relatively different from what Mr. Bowdwin had, is approximately $2.4 million, which is a substantial amount of money. As this is a preliminary report, the figures will be changing going forward, but we don't expect them to change by a lot. There will be minor changes either way. The summary report, the packets that were passed out tonight, have a brief summary, which I did today. I got the report last night at about 8 o'clock, reviewed the data this morning, and came up with the preliminary report summary. The as of June 30, 2008, it does show the $2.4 million. We had to totally recreate the health insurance trust from the date of inception to get the accurate information, and there is still more information coming forward. The surplus at this point in time is attributable to both the town of Wareham and the employees. It will depend on the final figures how we can lay this out. At this moment in time, the estimated surplus going back to the town of Wareham is $1.8 million. The estimated surplus going back to the employees is $600,000. These issues will be addressed as we get further into the report. The Department of Revenue, Division of Local Services, has also received a copy of this preliminary report because it will impact our free cash certification. Additionally, because there is the surplus for the town and the surplus for the employees, we will need to address going forward how that will be taken care of, be it through a premium holiday or some other aspect. But till we get to that point where we have clear, concise data, we would want to wait on that as to how it will be addressed.
Okay.
Also, the preliminary report shows, and as indicated at the Selectmen's meeting in October that I attended the first time we discussed the health insurance trust, the discrepancies are pretty much due to improper accounting practices, not knowing exactly how the trust fund was supposed to be split up as far as the ratios and the different values that go into the trust fund.
If you would, why don't you talk about the on page 5, it pretty much gets us to the bottom line as far as the numbers and the percentages and the differences between the contribution rate between employee contribution and employer contribution, adding up to 100%. Can you just talk to us about the implication of the 25.7 versus the 74.3%?
The implication at